What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're gonna be ranking each and every one of these budget cards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Now, first off, I want to give a massive shout out to DBG because look, it would have taken me a while to come up with each and every one of these budget cards to be ranking on this tier list. It would have taken me a while. Shout out to DBG. So he recently had done a video. Make sure y'all go check out his list because look, we have different opinions and we just want to guide you guys in the right direction. So massive shout out to him for making this tier list and it happen and obviously sharing it with me. So, big shout out to DBG. I just want to say that first and foremost. It's going to take me a while to rank these, so get your popcorn out look, and hear what I have to say about each and every one of these things. As we dive into it, man, make sure y'all smash the subscribe button on my page as well as DBG. So, AK. When we're talking about budget ballers in my team, AK's got to be up there. And I mean, I'm not saying AK is the best of the best, but specific to budget, he's up there. And then again, it's hard because now, as time goes on, we're getting everybody with quick releases. We're getting, small forwards that are way taller. We're getting guys like Ben Wallace, for example, that are, just do a little bit more than AK, but still do like AK. I'm going to start with him in A tier. We might have to maneuver that a little bit. Sabonis, another guy. I think I just got to put an A tier. And here's the reason why. People are starting to run this card at center, which, look, if you run him at center, he is a cheese ball and he's solid for his value. But again, I like him at point guard. Again, you just got to be able to adjust your matchups for that. And if you do, Sabonis is one of the top budget point guards in the entire game. And he's honestly my backup point guard on my no money spent squad right now. So it would be doing Sabonis a disservice to have him anywhere lower than A tier. Ben Simmons, look, I'm ranking these guys for how good they are, not their specific value, but I don't even think Ben Simmons is as good as Sabonis straight away. I just don't. I think if you run Sabonis, you run Ben Simmons, most of you guys are going to have more success with Sabonis as long as you remotely know what you're doing. Other Ben Simmons, here's the deal, guys. Between the Amethyst Ben Simmons and the new Ben Simmons, Amethyst Ben Simmons isn't quite as good. But if you do play him at power forward, you're getting an absolutely incredible defender. It's that simple. He's way cheaper than the other Ben Simmons. I just don't think he's very good because you're not going to be able to shoot with the card. And with that, he becomes basically a liability on the court. Bill Walton, a card who he is free that you can grind for. And that's something that you can't take for granted. Now, again, when we're talking about the best of the best at the center position, you don't really highlight Bill Walton, but he's an easy enough grind, obviously, and you're getting a really good center when you do grind for him. Obviously, it's tough to rank the free cards compared to the cards that aren't free, but Bill Walton definitely deserves to be talked about. Billy Cunningham for today's game, I'm going to move some players around, but Billy Cunningham for today's game, I think is just a little bit outdated. My question to you guys is this. Is Billy Cunningham as good as Andre Kirilenko? My opinion is no, he's not quite as good, and that's why he's at where he's at. I think C tier is a perfect spot for Billy. He had his time in 2K where he was solid. It's just that time is not now. Bobby Portis, look. He's one of these cards that we got that is newer, okay? But is he really doing anything on the court? Jump shot 75 on quick is cool, but defensively he's a liability. Can't really do anything outside of the release. And with that being said, I just don't think I can go any higher than D tier. It's one of those things where if you compare him straight away to the Amethyst Ben Simmons going to do everything better on the court outside of shoot. But Bobby Portis does have a better 3-ball. So I think D tier is probably the right tier for him. Bobo, I don't know if I'd really call Bobo too much of a budget card because he is pretty expensive, but if we're just ranking them by how good they are, there's no question Bobo is S tier. He's still, in my opinion, a top 3 power forward in the game. A lot of people are going to disagree because we got guys like Patrick Ewing, we got guys like, Patrick Ewing, got guys like David Robinson who can play power forward, but I don't care. Bobo is 7'2" with an incredibly large player build. I like Bobo. And when I say large, I'm saying like long. He's not wide, he's just really long. And I like what he can get into. Boris Diaw, if you got this, look, if early on in 2K, you had Boris Diaw with the Penny Hardaway duo, there was something to like. And that's all I'm going to say. At this stage, I can't sit up here and say Boris Diaw is incredible, but he still can hold it down. He's one of those cards that, is Boris Diaw better than Bobby Portis? I'm thinking so. Is he that much better though? No, I'm having him at C tier, but he's a guy that can definitely hold it down. Brandon Ingram. Does anybody else miss the days? Right? I look up Brandon Ingram right now, right? And you guys are going to see where Brandon Ingram's at. You know, he is 6'7". But does anybody else miss the days when Brandon Ingram wasn't 6'7"? Or is it just me? Is it just me that misses the days when Brandon Ingram was 6'9" and he was an absolute hooper? Now he's only 6'7", and with the skinny player model at 6'7", it's just not going to be too great. Offensively, shooting-wise, still obviously really solid with jump shot 75 on quick. But because he's 6'7" and can't play the 2, I'm not super high on Brandon Ingram. Buddy Hield's All-Star card. For a week or so, I love this card. And then I got to thinking, he's only 6'4". Defensively, he's still not great. He's okay, though. I do want to say Buddy Hield's okay. Does have the Kobe base on quick with quick dribble style. Like, Buddy Hield's okay. Just can't go any higher than C tier. Cam Johnson's not very good in 2K. I don't know what else there is to say. Cam Johnson in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM is not very good. But here's the deal, guys. He's better than Boris Diaw. And so that's the hard part I'm having is, you know, I don't think Cam Johnson's great. And it really comes down to jump shot 70 on quick, which is an okay release. Shifty dribble style, but he just lacks a lot of total badges, and I do think he is better than Boris Diaw, though, but I just don't think Cam Johnson's great. But I do think he belongs in C tier. And we might have to add a tier in here or just move the tier list up because we're lacking a lot of people at the highest tiers. And Cam Reddish is one of those cards that I was maybe overrating for a while, but I still think when you talk about budget shooting guards in my team, you gotta mention Cam Reddish. You just have to. And more than anything, because of his height and because of his defense. PG's based on quick, shifty dribble style and just great defense. I know his interior strength aren't great, but he kind of makes up for it because he is 6'8". So it's just one of those things. I do think he belongs at A tier. I don't necessarily think he's the best anymore. Chris Anderson, I think, was one of the most overrated cards for his time in the game. I tried using him. Didn't have too much success. He has 24 base badges. And here's my question to you guys. Is he better than Bobby Portis? The answer is no. He's not better than Bobby Portis. D tier is the right spot for Birdman Anderson. Christian Laettner, another one of these free cards who is just absolutely outstanding. And when I say outstanding, it's for the budget list. I mean, they belong in A tier as far as budget players are concerned. Can shoot the ball incredibly, play solid defense. He's on my no money spent squad right now, and I don't really notice him be a liability. Now, obviously, is he as good as Bobo? I don't think so, but I do like Christian Laettner. And again, you did complete the grind for, you know, obviously the Ralph Sampson. You got a lot of decent cards along the way. Corey Kispert is not one of those cards. And I hate to break this to you guys. Corey Kispert is terrible in my team. He's just not good. And you guys might disagree, but he has fundamental dribble style. The dude is 6'6". He's 6'7" wingspan, small wingspan. I do not like Corey Kispert. Give me, this might, I need to look at this before I make this statement. But here's my comparison. Give me Buddy Hield over Corey Kispert. More total badges. You look at Buddy. Better on the defense end of the court, outside of interior. Give me Buddy Hield over Corey Kispert. It's honestly that simple. Danny Manning, perfect addition into B tier. I think him and AK, it's really a debate. Danny Manning's going to do a lot of things well. AK might defend a little bit better. Danny, I like your release a little more. It's just one of those things where Danny Manning's going to be that 3-and-D guy on the court. You can't expect him to do anything else. And even shooting-wise, he's going to be okay. He's not going to be great. And that's the one thing with Danny Manning that kind of holds me back a little bit is he good? Yes. Is he great? No. He's just an okay budget card in my team, in my opinion. Dave DeBusschere, I can't say I've used him a lot this year, but I can only go off of what I say or what I've heard. And obviously, defensively, he's got a lot going for him. But guys, he's only 6'6" at the small forward position. I mean, I get it. Handling the ball, he's okay, but he does only have fundamental dribble style, great defensive tendencies. Never really seen Dave DeBusschere out there, and I can't really say too much about him because, honestly, I don't know. Now, DeJounte Murray for budget point guards is an interesting card because I honestly thought this DeJounte Murray was going to be good. I did. I thought this card was going to be good, but the problem is he's not good, okay? And it pains me to say that because I thought this DeJounte Murray would be good. For people out there, you know, who need a budget point guard, but he's just not good. He might even drop to D tier because he's just not very good. Derek Anderson for his time was okay. And the reason Derek Anderson was okay is because of the jump shot 113 on quick. That's really it. Quick dribble style is okay, but again, doesn't have handles for days, can't get it. The card honestly lacks quite a bit, but again, he was solid because of his release for a little while. Darren Williams power within card. Is it just me, or does anybody else not really remember Darren Williams? Because I really don't know. Interior wise, solid. Shooting wise, solid. And honestly, Darren Williams is definitely better than DeJounte Murray. But I don't really remember this card, to be honest with you. I could look up his price right now, but I mean, you look at the card, jump shot 38 on normal timing and base dribble style is really the only flaw with him. But I do think because of what he gives you on defense and being a little bit better, I'm going to put him at C tier. DeJounte Murray is going to be better at handling the ball, whereas Darren Williams is going to be a little better defensive. It's just one of those things that doesn't really make sense when you think about the players, but it is what it is. Doug McDermott, is he B tier? That's the question we got to ask ourselves, and I think he might be 6'7". Here's the way I look at Doug McDermott, and you guys can hate me for saying this, but is he better than Cam Johnson? That's the question I'm posing to you guys, because I wanted to say he's just a better version of Cam Johnson because I knew his badges would be way better. But is he better than Cam Johnson? When you look at the animations, that's what holds me back a little bit. I think he is the same tier as Cam Johnson, and we'll have to really, weed out C tier at some point. Duncan Robinson, I feel like eventually, guys, we're going to get a really good Duncan Robinson card. I really do. And this card's not terrible. I don't want you to sit here and say he's terrible, but jump shot 40 on quick, shift dribble style is great. But eventually, we might get a really good Duncan Robinson card. It's just going to have to be pretty soon if we do. Earl the Pearl is a card I liked at the beginning of 2K21 when the Diamond Earl was in the game. His card's just not very good in my team. I can't even sit here and say that Earl Monroe is better than some of the other point guards we have at C tier. I just don't see it. Earl Monroe, D tier. Gary Payton, another D tier. Gary Payton is not very good. It's basically a worse version of the pink diamond Gary Payton, who obviously wasn't good in the first place, or isn't good anymore in the first place. Just not good anymore. It's that simple. Gary Payton II. Now, again, I don't necessarily know much about this card. 6'3", good speed interior. This card is way better than the card we just looked at, and it's not remotely close. Quick dribble style, jump shot 8 on quick. That's the problem. Jump shot 8 is a pretty bad release. But I do still think he belongs in that C tier of players. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move Danny Manning up, going to move Andre Kirilenko up, and I'm going to move some guys from C tier up to B tier. That definitely deserve it, because I don't like how many players we have at C tier right now in general. I just think we're accumulating too many of them, and it just doesn't sit well with me. So I'm just going to do that for now as we hop into George Mikan. I start everybody out C tier, and I think that's the problem, is I start everybody at C tier before moving players around. Mikan came out a long time ago, and still to this day you can use the card. The problem is he's just a little bit outdated, but still for centers he can play power forward. He's okay in my team. The problem is he as good as Birdman? And I just don't know. I just think they probably are that same level of tier. But I'm gonna continue to move some pieces around, because I do think there are some guys that maybe deserve to be at that better tier. And so we're gonna do that. But the problem is Doug McDermott better than Brandon Ingram? I can't seem to get myself to separate any of these guys. Gerald Green, is he another C tier player? I mean, I hate just throwing everybody at C tier. He's better than C tier. Although I didn't necessarily love Gerald Green in my gameplay, it's impossible to say he's any worse than C tier. I mean, you look at the stats, you look at the badges. He is at worst B tier, at worst. Gerald Green is solid in my team. I just don't think I did a very good in my gameplay with him. Glenn Rice up next. I'll be the first to say I don't really remember what this Glenn Rice gets into, but I'm impressed. 90 speed, 84 interior perimeter, great 3-ball, jump shot 13 on normal timing's not great. But I still think he does enough to deserve that B tier, especially on the defensive end of the court. When you're comparing him to guys like Derek Anderson and Buddy Hield. Greg Oden, are you a C tier center or not? I don't know, man. I don't know. I do think he is C tier, because when you compare him to a guy like George Mikan, I do think he is a little bit better. He's basically an inside big, though. That's what you're getting out of Greg Oden, is an inside big. We'll see. He might honestly get moved up to B tier, because the card is not horrible. He's not a card I talk about a lot, but Greg Oden is definitely not horrible. Hedo Turkoglu is our next card here, and Hedo Turkoglu is S tier. Say whatever you want about any of my cards, but you cannot sit up here right now and tell me Hedo Turkoglu is not S tier. Release super quick, super smooth. Shifty dribble style, normal, leaner. Defense is just fine at 6'10". Hedo Turkoglu is one guy I'm certain is S tier, and nobody is changing my mind on that. Bonga, we're going A tier for Bonga. Again, people often ask me, is Bonga the best budget point guard in the game? And it's hard. I mean, he is like 3,000 MT, which makes it pretty easy to make the case for him for his specific price. But, you know, with the Sabonis's of the world, with Tony Kukoc, is he that good? That's where it gets hard. I'm going to try to find a worthless player down in here to throw into that category, so we at least have somebody there. But let's see. Who do I believe is worthless? Is Steven Adams worthless? I feel like Steven Adams just gotta be worthless, right? He's not worthless. I mean, as an interior big, he's not worthless. Let's see, is Robert Pack worthless? I mean, we gotta have somebody in worthless, and Robert Pack isn't worthless. He's gonna do some things on the court. So let's find out. Are any of these cards even worthless? I don't necessarily know. I'm not seeing any off the top of my mind that belong in worthless. So let's put somebody in worthless. Who belongs in worthless tier? I'm going to throw this Gary Payton in worthless tier. I think he is the worst player right now on my list. Jalen Green is solid, though. I want you guys to know that this Jalen Green card is very solid. People be running him that aren't even bad at the game. Problem is his interior, but outside of the interior defense, I mean, he has quick dribble style. Jump shot 95 on quick is smooth. Card isn't horrible. I do think he belongs in that B tier, though. Give me Bonga, give me Sabonis over the card, but again, I don't think he is horrible when I'm saying that. I just think there are better cards in the game. Next up, Jamal Mashburn. For Bracket Busters cards, I do think he's, you know, maybe not one of the best. I don't think he's as good as Danny Manning, for example, but if you do need a small forward desperately and do get Jamal Mashburn, he can play. I mean, I'm not sitting up here saying he's the best, but I am sitting up here saying he can play if you really do need him to play at the end of the day. Next up, guys, we do got Diamond James Harden. When back in the day, when Diamond James Harden came out, people were thinking this card was literally one of the best players in the game. And here's the deal: at the shooting guard position, if you need a guy to kind of make plays there, he can definitely do that. The problem is defensively. The problem is his release on normal timing. Problem is he's just not very good anymore. Like when we compare it to like a Buddy Hield, give me Buddy Hield every day of the week. Do you think for this stage, James Harden does belong in that D tier? James Worthy is fine in my team. I don't necessarily think he's the best, but I think when you talk about some small forward, power forwards in the game, he's fine, especially stat-wise. You do have to badge the card out, but I don't hate him at all. Jump shot's 22 on normal timing's not great, but again, when James Worthy came out, I thought, you know, okay. I do not like the 76 ball handle, and that's going to be the reason he drops down. But when I drop him down, it's not me saying James Worthy's not good. It's just me saying, is James Worthy better than Brandon Ingram? And that's the thing. I don't necessarily know. And it just gets kind of tough. So I do think James Worthy in C tier is ultimately the right spot. So we're getting through this, guys. We don't have that much left. Jeff Green here. Jeff Green might be worthless. For this stage of my team, I'm sorry, Jeff Green, but you might have to be in worthless. But is he really worthless? Is he really worthless on the court? Jump shot 50 on quick. I don't think he is. I'm not sitting here up here and saying Jeff Green is great, but I do not think he is worthless. I do think he belongs in at least D tier. Jeremy Lin he's fine. Jeremy Lin is the definition of fine. Again, he came out a while ago in the glitch shed January 28th, but again, he is 6'3", and that's the problem. Jump shot 40 on normal timing. He's basically a Gary Payton that isn't worthless, but way, 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 way better. And it's not me saying he's good. He's only 6'3". I'm going to put him in C tier, but he's way better than this worthless Gary Payton card. Jerry West, is he another C tier card, or does he belong in B tier? That's the question, and I don't know. Is Jerry West even better than that card we just talked about in Jeremy Lin? I don't know. I think his release is better. He's going to do some things better, but I think they belong at the same tier. And I know I got a lot of players in C tier, but it's just going to have to do. Jimmy Buckets up next. Does Jimmy belong in A, or does he belong in S? I'm right now going to put him in S tier. And if you guys are like, whoa, Ty, that seems high. Well, hear me out, okay? I know his height is 6'7", but what else can Jimmy Butler not do? He can do it all. And with all the out of position players in the game right now, He's a guy that you can run at power forward and have guys, let's say you run him at power forward, right? And you have guys on the court like Giannis, even guys on the court like Scottie Pippen. Jimmy Butler can guard 1 through 4. He absolutely can. So his versatility is what I like at power forward. And here's the deal, Jimmy Butler has his release on quick, which I do like as well. Joakim Noah up next. And look, I know people in 2K might think, well, Joakim Noah's not bad. And I get it. On the defensive end of the court, he is a fine inside center. But the problem is he is so limited on the court. He is. And I don't want to sit here and slander the card because I don't think, he's the worst. But is he any better than Greg Oden? That's what it really gets down to. Is he any better than Greg Oden? And I think the cards are pretty similar. Joakim Noah might be a little bit better on the defensive end of the court, or just as an all-around player. I guess I gotta bring Joakim Noah into B tier. I don't love the card, but I think he does give you a little bit more than a guy like Greg Oden. Joe Johnson, I mean, if his stamina rating was just a little bit better, I would love the card. I mean, he was one of the first cards in my team that you're like, wow, this card stat-wise is good. A lot of people, when he first came out, didn't even recognize the stamina would be an issue. It ended up being a pretty big issue. That's why people don't love Joe Johnson. But I still like him enough to put him in B tier. I think B tier is the perfect place for him as a card that, if you like Joe Johnson, I don't blame you one bit. John Wall up next. And I just know DBG had John Wall and probably S tier on his list. For me, John Wall is good. But to say interior doesn't matter in 2K is crazy. Like 58 interior, 57 block is crazy. The problem, people are going to be like, well, DeJounte Murray should be higher. The big difference is that John Wall's got quick dribble style and his release on quick, whereas DeJounte Murray has a bad release and not that dribble style. So still do think John Wall is an A tier caliber point guard in my team. I have him and I really haven't played with him too much because I'll be running big Sabonis at that point guard position. Josh Smith. Am I crazy to still think Josh Smith belongs at B tier? Is that crazy of me? It might be, but I'll call me crazy because defensively, I like him enough to put him here. I really do. Defensively, I like him enough to put him at B tier. Again, you guys might be like, Ty, are you crazy? Why do you like him that much? Well, look, I like him that much because he is absolutely incredible. 6'9" is a little short, but if you can get his release down defensively, he is really solid. JT Thor, for today's game, isn't great, but he was solid in my team for a time. A time in which his release, jump shot 85 on normal timing, was really, really solid defensively, held it down. He's not great in my team. He's just not. Is he as good as a James Worthy? No. Is he D tier? Probably. But D tier is not horrible. I just want you guys to know my D tier right now, I've got some guys that can do a lot of things here at D tier, just so you guys know. I like organizing these by position so you guys kind of can get a better idea without having to, go look into it too much. So just kind of keep that in the back of your guys' minds. It's not about how good they are. It's mainly by position. Julius Randle up next, and Julius Randle is not very good in my team. He's just not. People are going to be like, well, Ty, he's got 63 badges. Okay, but look at his defense. He is not good in my team, and nobody's convincing me otherwise. I'm not sitting here and saying he's horrible. What I am saying is he's not great. I'll put him at C tier more than anything because I'm putting him at C tier because of his badge count and because I think he's okay. But I really do not like Julius Randle in my team. KPJ is a solid enough point guard in the game, and I don't think enough people talk about Kevin Porter Jr. People talk about Jalen Green. People talk about whoever else. People don't talk about KPJ. He has Kobe size of escape. I know he's got the base dribble style, but because of the Kobe size of escape, he's just fine. Look at the shooting badges, perfect finishing wise for obviously KPJ is fine. I like his release more than Jalen Green. Jalen Green moves better. They're both B tier point guards in my opinion. Kyle Korver up next. I honestly don't know much about Kyle Korver. Like the card came out, but again, I just don't know enough about him. March 4th is when he came out. Like a day before 250, jump shot 17 on quick. Interior not great. All he's going to do is shoot the ball. He's a one-trick pony. Kyle Korver, where you at? You belong in D tier. I don't know where Kyle Korver's at. He belongs in D tier, and that's where he's going to stay. Kyrie Irving for today's game, C tier. When he came out, he was solid. I mean, it was a free locker code, and Kyrie Irving was solid. He moves well defensively. He's fine. He's just not necessarily that next tier good. Now, obviously, his base is on quick. Kyrie Irving dribble style. But is he as good as KPJ, Jalen Green? I personally don't think so. I really don't. And obviously, you guys might call me crazy. I just don't think he's that next tier good. Now, one thing I am going to do is, does this Gary Payton card belong in the same tier as Kyrie Irving? I think he does, just based off the defense. I was unsure on that, but I still definitely do think he belongs in that tier. Lamar Odom, I've used Lamar Odom for so long. Does he belong in A tier or B tier? I'm going to throw him in B tier. And that's just me saying I didn't love Lamar Odom. I had him for a long time. He held it down for me. I just prefer Danny Manning. I prefer Andre Kirilenko to Lamar Odom. Call me biased, call me whatever you want, but it is my tier list and my opinion. LaMarcus Aldridge is horrible. I will never, ever, ever say LaMarcus Aldridge is good in my team. You're never going to hear that from me. Terrible defensively, release-wise, so mid. He does have Brook Lopez base, I guess, which is same thing as KP, but what is LaMarcus Aldridge really doing for you on the court, guys? Not a whole lot. I mean, D tier is crazy. I'll move him into C tier, but I do not love LaMarcus Aldridge. Lance Stevenson is a card I will first start off by saying I haven't really used Lance too much, but everybody loves Lance Stevenson. Everybody, whether it's my friends that play the game, whether it's you guys in the chat, y'all, or in the comments, y'all love Lance Stevenson. And I think y'all love him enough for me to maybe put him on the borderline of being A tier. I'm going to put him B tier for now because I don't know if he is Cam Reddish's level. I'm going to put him at A tier. I do think he is, and that's just me saying based off what you guys tell me, I'm going to put him at A tier, which is crazy to me. LeBron, wherever Lamar Odom is. And that's, I like both these cards, but are these cards as good as AK? I'm moving AK down as well right in there. And the reason for it is Danny Manning's better than those cards. It doesn't get any more complex than that. Danny Manning's better than Bron, better than Lamar, better than AK. It is what it is. All those cards are B tier. I know a lot of you guys are going to like Pat Burke, but is the card actually good? Is Pat Burke actually a good card, or do we just gas him? And I think it's a little bit of both. The card is not horrible, but I do think we as a community gas the card with fundamental dribble style. Now, here's what I'll say. He's a C tier card. He's not as good as Joakim Noah. And if you guys want to argue he's better than Joakim Noah, I want you guys to know you are crazy. Joakim Noah on the defensive end is so much better than Pat Burke. It's crazy. Where he's better is post moves, which don't really matter. Give me Joakim Noah over Pat Burke. Pat Burke at C tier. Pau Gasol, I think we got to move at least to B tier. And I don't like Pau Gasol, but when the card came out, a lot of people would love Pau Gasol, and for good reason. This Pau Gasol card is good. Set shot 16 on quick, which is the Pat Burke base, and he's basically better at everything outside of that. I'm going to move him all the way up to A tier. You guys can call me crazy if you want to, but this card can play. And that's coming from a guy who honestly has never even used Pau Gasol. Penny Hardaway up next. Again, I know he plays power forward, but is Penny Hardaway better at power forward than Bron? I don't know if I have the answer to that. The problem is he's 6'7", and does he do as much as Jimmy Butler? Not even close. It's just out of the question. What he is going to do is handle the ball well for you, but the problem is how many times you're going to handle the ball with your power forward. I have a hard time putting Penny Hardaway any higher than B tier because of those things I mentioned. He's only 6'7". Pete Maravich is not great in my team. He's just not. Is he objectively A tier? Probably. I mean, he probably is, and he's super cheap because of the locker code, but Pistol Peach is not great. Railing base, normal timing. You look at the stats, very mid, very mediocre. I don't even know if he is A tier. I'm putting him at B tier. Pistol Pete is very, very, very mediocre in my team. Got one line left after Rashard Lewis, who I don't know if Rashard Lewis is any better than C tier. I don't know. If we were talking about Reggie Lewis, yes, but Rashard Lewis is just mediocre. He can shoot the ball incredibly well. Power dribble style, jump shot 4 on normal timing. I think he is C tier, right with Cam Johnson, Doug McDermott. And I get it, you guys might be like, these cards aren't as bad, but look at small forward, power forward. Lamar, Bron, AK, all those cards are better than a guy like Rashard Lewis. Rex Chapman up next. I think Rex Chapman is a perfect addition into B tier. I do like Rex Chapman, but I don't think he's quite as good as a guy like John Wall. It really comes down to the shifty dribble style instead of quick dribble style, but he does have jump shot 49 on quick. Basically think he's very comparable to this guy right here. One's got a better dribble style, one's got a little bit of height. I do think he's pretty comparable. This is deceiving. The 198 is really deceiving because a lot of it's rebounding, a lot of it's post move, stuff like that. But I do think Rex Chapman is a little bit better than a guy like KPJ. I do think he deserves A tier. I do. After looking at the stats, I really do. RJ Barrett, easy addition into S tier. Easy S tier. And you wonder why. Well, just watch the No Money Spent squad. If you watch the No Money Spent squad, you're going to understand and agree with me that RJ Barrett deserves S tier. There's no stats badges that you guys need to see. All you need to see is the No Money Spent squad. Robert Pack, he's not worthless, but he's not great in my team. I mean, again, not worthless. You look at the card, he's not worthless, but he's not good in my team. Quick dribble style, jump shot 94 on quick. I'm going to go D tier for the card. I'm not the biggest fan of Robert Pack. Scottie Pippen's diamond card. I'll say this, the difference between the diamond and the Galaxy Opal is large. That's all I'm going to sit here and say. Scotty's diamond is still going to defend, but that's all he's going to do for you on the court. For this stage of my team, I'm sorry to say, Scottie Pippen is D tier. Spencer Dinwiddie on next gen specifically is C tier. On current gen, the card is horrible. I'm just throwing that out there because his release is terrible. You still get a guy with shifty dribble style. Jump shot 77, again, is on the slower side. He is 6'6", so he does have some height. I'm going to put him at C tier. I just don't think I can go any higher with the card. Steven Adams is not great, but I don't think Steven Adams deserves to be in worthless. Now, what I want to do is compare Steven Adams to Greg Oden. That's one thing. I wouldn't be doing Steven Adams justice if I didn't. Greg Oden is way better than Steven Adams, though. So, yes, he's still an inside big. He's just not quite as good as Greg Oden, but I do not think the card is worthless. Thurl Bailey up next. And with Thurl, we're going all the way up to A tier. When you do get Thurl Evo'd, he's better than the Pink Diamond Brown. He's better than AK. He's better than Lamar Odom. He's better than all those cards. He's 6'11", decent enough release, easy to green, great defender in general. I do think he belongs in that A tier of players. Tom Chambers, look. Does anybody remember the original Tom Chambers, the Diamond Tom Chambers? Because I was out there on my No Money Spent with that card for a while. This Tom Chambers is okay. Set shot 16 on normal timing. He's not very good. Tom Chambers is going all the way down into D tier. Diamond Tony, he's okay. Right? Diamond Tony's okay. Not great, but man, he's okay. I mean, 56 base badges. The dude can hoop a little bit. The Amethyst Tony is who we're talking about, though. Amethyst Tony Kukoc is going all the way into A tier. I don't know where I dropped him, but he belongs in A tier. He's on the verge of being S tier too. Is he better than Sabonis? That's personal preference. But here's what I say. He's complete at the point guard position. Problem is, fundamental dribble style is not great, but Brook Lopez base on quick. He's going to do a lot for you at that point guard position. Talk about a good power forward in my team. We got to talk about Tyler Hansbrough. He belongs in A tier. Again, I do think he's better than LeBron. I think he's better than Lamar Odom. I do think he's a little worse version of Dolph Schayes. It's the best way I can break it down for you guys. Jump shot 38 on quick. Very good defensive player. I like Tyler Hansbrough all the way around. We got two players left. Starting with Tyler Hero, just an okay player. A lot of people love Tyler Hero, especially on current gen. People are loving this Tyler Hero card because he does have the tray base on quick. But is he really that next level good? He's not. And I hate to break it to you guys if you love Tyler Hero, but a 6'3" wingspan absolutely kills the card, especially when the guys above him like Gerald Green, Joe Johnson are just that little bit better. Last but certainly not least, we got Tyrese Haliburton, a card who last year did his thing. Like last year, Tyrese was really tough. The diamond was. This Tyrese is just okay. Gonna defend okay, obviously, animations-wise, air to go to base on normal timing, shifty dribble style. He's gonna do some things okay, but again, I don't know if it's enough to put him any tier above C tier. So I am gonna move him to C tier, and that is going to be the list. We only have 4 players at S tier, and I do want some more players at that S tier. So we're gonna move some things around, okay? Gonna move Sabonis up to S tier because I do think he's the best point guard we had there. I'm gonna move. Who do I want to move? I'm gonna move Christian Laettner. I'm gonna move Christian Laettner up because I do like his release. I think he's really solid in my team. And that's gonna be it. I do like the one line at A tier. 6 is kind of an odd number, so I'm gonna move Laettner down. But this is my tier list. You know, obviously if I'm one tier off like Laettner, for example, it's okay. It's a matter of opinion. If I am more than one tier off on any of these cards, I want you guys to let me know down below in the comments. Again, all these cards should be pretty cheap, and I didn't rank them by value. I ranked them by how good they actually are. It's going to wrap it up for my video, though. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.